Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge with your latest Manchester United news, and we've got some big news coming in about João Felix from Atletico Madrid as they confirm he is for sale because of differences with the manager and lack of game time at Atletico Madrid. So what does that mean for Manchester United? This is a player that we were in for in the summer. Does that mean that we're back in for him now? We'll also have got an update on Jadon Sancho, the players that are left in the World Cup and what that means, as well as a few other bits to get through, as well as a few comments from Erik ten Hag, who gave an interview today. So lots to get into. Hope we're all doing very, very well. Obviously, the World Cup's just... Look, can I just say, the clip of me that's sort of out there of me storming off because Ronaldo didn't start, it's a joke. I was in Manchester at 7 o'clock when I did that. I'm now in the Midlands. It takes 2 hours to drive. I was never doing that watch along. It was just a bit of a joke as I was leaving to say that's why I'm not doing it. But I was driving back to do this show. So there we go. If you fell for it, great. So I listened to it on the radio, and what an impressive performance by Portugal. And more important than Ronaldo, Bruno Delo, fantastic, absolutely fantastic for Manchester United, what they're doing. And I echo what Ten Hag said, that these players doing well in the World Cup is good for Manchester United, and hopefully they can bring that momentum back, like Casemiro and Luke Shaw and Rashford and others. So it's good, it's good. But let's bring the story back to João Felix. Where is this coming from? A few things I want to give you an update on. Jadon Sancho coming in as well. There's quite a few to get through tonight, so make sure you smash a like and subscribe. And remember, we've got a watch along tomorrow. I know there's no World Cup matches tomorrow and Thursday, 2-day rest for the World Cup, but no rest for us and watch alongs tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Manchester United are playing Cadiz in Spain. We would have a watch along for you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for that as well. So lots and lots to look forward to as we start building towards Manchester United coming back. And talking about Manchester United coming back, Atletico Madrid's CEO Gilmarin has said this: João Felix has top level, but because of his relationship with Simeone and game time, we feel that makes sense to consider potential bids to sell him. I'd love for João to continue, but this is the current situation. So basically, the relationship with Simeone and the lack of game time is why they will now consider bids to sell João Felix. And that is a big statement from the CEO of Atletico Madrid. Sia says, the World Cup should not be taken as soul scouting, but João Felix played really well, even going deeper in the build-up. Delo and Bruno class, by the way. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not talking about João Felix just because, and thank you, welcome to the Members Club, Jack Lacey. Can I just say, today, we were filming some stuff for the Members Club in the studio. The first one goes up tomorrow, so members, get ready. You're going to love it. And if you're not a member, click the members button and join. But you're going to really enjoy this bit of content that we've got coming up for you over the next few weeks. But back into the show tonight. Yeah, it's not because of João Felix playing well for Portugal that I'm mentioning this. This was a statement that came out before the game. And I think it's hashtag prankbridge, says Blakey. I think it's really... Let's buy the striker from Benfica, by the way. Come on. Let's get on the World Cup horse and ride it. Come on, let's go. Ramos from Benfica. No, I'm only joking. But João Felix is a player that Erik ten Hag approached in the summer, and Atletico Madrid said no. Will Manchester United go back in? I think they would if we had the money to do it. I don't know why I'm moving my hands around like this. I feel like Jamie Oliver. Lovely, lovely. But... he doesn't talk like that. I think that with João Felix, if Manchester United had the money, they would go back in for him. I really do think that they would. The question mark has to be, have they got the money to go for João Felix in January? And who has got the money to go for him in January? I think if we had the new owners, we might be able to do it. But ultimately, we've got no idea whether Manchester United will go in for him. But the fact that a player that Ten Hag really likes is publicly for sale by his club, that and somebody just said it in the chat. Can I just shout Anne as well? Because Anne says, Mark and all United stand, just to say thank you for all the watch-alongs on That's Football. It's been truly pleasurable to listen to your commentary. Yeah, we've really enjoyed it, actually. So thanks everyone who's been tuning in over there. I got to do one with Ricky this afternoon. If you didn't see it, Goldbridge and Ricky doing a watch-along together. It was fantastic. It was really, it was a dream come true. And we got a penalty shootout. Yeah, and can I just say to Spain as well, I'm saying this to a nation, but more and more to Luis Enrique. That's what happens when you do a legend like David De Gea dirty. It comes back and bites you on the arse. And I'm not saying David De Gea would have saved any of those penalties. but you went out on penalties. Mark, do you think Felix would want the number 7 shirt? Perfect heir to the throne, says Leo J. And if Felix is available, you go get him. 23-year-old dynamic forward, fits our style of play. Ten Hag would bring the best out of him as well, says Sean Turner. Shout out to Adam for keeping a straight face and made me want to see more comedy sketches with you and the rest of the United Stand team, says Glenn. Thank you very much. If you've not seen it, it's on my socials, at Mark Goldbridge on Twitter. And isn't Felix quite injury prone? I could be wrong, but why would we get someone with the same problems as Martial for insurance, says Roskell. And Mark might have missed it earlier. Did you see what Van Dijk said about United when asked about Gakpo? Yeah, we covered it the other day, Gummy. We did. I'm just going to run a check on João Felix. Not that sort of check. We don't need to check that sort of thing. But I just want to check his injury history. I'm not too sure whether he has got much of an injury history, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. So, João Felix, available. So, he's had a muscle injury in April of this year where he was out for 74 days. He had an injury where he was out for 13 days a year ago. He had an ankle fracture 18 months ago that kept him out for 71 days. He's not really an injury problem. Not really. He's had a couple of bad injuries in the last 18 months, but I wouldn't make it classed as injury prone. But the bottom line is, he's available. The CEO of Atletico Madrid has come out and said that. Now, some people might say, why has he said that? The same reason Man United have said they're for sale. They want a bidding war, or they want interest. And the interesting thing is, what's the price that Atletico Madrid are going to put on João Felix? Because they're desperate for money. And will anybody be willing to pay it? I actually think he'd be a good signing for Arsenal. With Jesus out injured, I think he'd be good for Arsenal. But I think Gakpo would be good for Arsenal. I think, obviously, he's a player that Ten Hag likes. I can't see anyone from Italy going for him. I don't think Bayern Munich would go for him. Man City won't. Liverpool won't. Chelsea might, but I don't think that they would. Barcelona could, but they haven't really got the money. So it's an opportunity for Manchester United. But like everybody else, it's whether we can bring the money to the table. Do I want João Felix over Gakpo? I'm conflicted. I think Gakpo's the right player to go for. I would go with what the manager wants, really. But look, he's up for sale. I don't think Felix would succeed in the Premier League. Gakpo and Dest in January, says Alex Perriman. Yeah, Dest had a very good World Cup. But you know what I would say about Dest having a good World Cup? So did Robinson, who plays for Fulham at left back. He had just as good a World Cup as him. Would you buy him? Just be careful of World Cup vibes. They disappear for 4 years, and when they come back, they'll bite you. No, I'm not interested in World Cup vibes. I mean, the reality is we were interested in João Felix before, and we were interested in Gakpo before. So I'm not really interested in how well they've played in the World Cup. I'm looking at what we're doing. I love the watch-along with Ricky Mark. Never thought I'd see Goldbridge and Ricky doing a watch-along in the World Cup. Dreams do come true. And for me too, David. For me too. Welcome to Members Club, Aaron. And could Felix be used in a Kevin De Bruyne role, says Ola. Look, I don't... My honest theory is we won't sign João Felix. But my honest answer is we did try and buy him in August, and he's available again in January. We might go back in for him. I don't think we will sign him. I'd like to sign him, and I'd be intrigued to see why Erik Ten Hag wanted him. Because when he wanted him, he's an attacking player. And did he want him instead of Anthony? Doesn't really make sense to me. So I'd be interested to see if we're still in for him. Gakpo all the way, says Rob. Thank you very much, Rob. Ricky has played the game, says Just Kevin. It was a very good watch along. You could almost watch that back again because of the stuff we were talking about. Anyway, look, let's see what happens with João Felix. Is the United game on TV tomorrow, says Paula? I think it's on MUTV. We will have a watch along updating you anyway, so thank you very much. Dale says great acting tonight, Mark. At least you got it was an act. And Felix is better with a higher ceiling than Gakpo. I like both though. I mean, I personally think Ten Hag would like both, but whether Man United can deliver that or not is something else, of course. So yes, João Felix has been put up for sale by Atletico Madrid. Their CEO has announced it. Let's wait and see if Manchester United do anything about it. There was also a couple of interesting updates on Jadon Sancho today. This is coming from Samuel Luckhurst in the Manchester Evening News. It is understood the intention is for Sancho to rejoin the United squad at their Carrington training complex next week. Obviously, he's not in Spain, so he won't be playing. And that staff say Jadon Sancho is brilliant when he's trusting of people. A source says it takes a bit to get to know him, as Sancho is quiet and unassuming. Okay. great. We've got a glimpse into the personality of Jadon Sancho apparently from the Manchester Evening News. I don't know what that means, really. Manchester United staff say that Jadon Sancho is brilliant when he's trusting of people. A source says it takes a little bit of time to get to know him, as Sancho is quiet and unassuming. Are we talking about his personality or his ability there? So is he a brilliant footballer when he's trusting of people, or is he a brilliant personality when... I think we're talking about his personality here, aren't we? So effectively, I would read that Jadon Sancho is a fantastic person when he trusts you. It takes a bit to get to know him first because he's quiet and unassuming. Fine, that's just a personality. That's absolutely fine. Good. I don't know what that does for Manchester United fans and Ten Hag and him performing on the pitch. Yeah, I don't know about that. It might be a glimpse into the personality of Jadon Sancho being a bit quiet and unassuming, and I don't know. I don't know what the angle is on that. But what I would say is that Erik Ten Hag cannot. It's not Erik Ten Hag's job to earn the trust of Jadon Sancho. It's Erik Ten Hag's job to manage Jadon Sancho. And if you're not playing well enough, you get dropped. And if that loses his trust, well, welcome to competitive sport. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what that's aimed at, really. The context of the story probably is that, it's a glimpse of... Look, you know what I think that is, actually? Thinking on the hop. I think there are some very unfair bits of stories being put out about Jadon Sancho having a bad attitude or whatever, I don't know. The same old shit that everybody gets. Memphis Depay had it, this nonsense that gets Martial had it, Martial's a lazy, arrogant... waste of space when he's not, when people want him to be sold, but when he's playing the team, always loved Martial. I've always liked Martial. I've always stuck up for him. I don't like this whole moody, lazy bullshit that circulated Martial for the last 3 or 4 years from certain ex-players and media. It's lazy bullshit from them. So I don't like it when I hear it about Jadon Sancho either. So I think maybe this piece here is about... And look, the English players always get protected more than the foreign players around Man United. That's always been the case. And I think maybe this article is about, promoting Jadon Sancho's... it's basically saying that he's humble. He's quiet and humble and unassuming. And, he's just a down-to-earth lad. So I think maybe it's a bit of an intelligent move from United or the people around Jadon Sancho just to promote this is a young lad who's trying to find his way in the sport with Manchester United, which is absolutely fine. But as I keep saying, I don't think we need that because I don't see United fans turning on Jadon Sancho. All I hear about Jadon Sancho is from Man United fans, and I would say this is a fan of his as well, he needs to do better as a footballer. I look back to the Cyprus game where he played that bad pass to Malacia, and the rest of the team are sprinting back to help Malacia, and he jogs and he's played the pass. That's what he needs to focus on. I don't think or hear or... I think many other United fans have a problem with Jadon Sancho's personality. I think the problem is his ability. At the moment, is not where it needs to be. And the manager, Erik Ten Hag, has to pick the team that's right. And if that means dropping Ronaldo or Sancho or Luke Shaw or Harry Maguire, then he will do it. Look... We all want Jadon Sancho back playing. It's a shame he's not part of the Spain thing, but get back next week. He'll have the support. There's going to be a very big buzz around Manchester United when we come back playing anyway. First game back is against Burnley. First Premier League game is at Old Trafford as well against Nottingham Forest. Nishank, thank you very much. Welcome to the Members Club. I think there's going to be a positive buzz around Manchester United, and these players need to be back and ready for it. And it's just about preparation. That's simply what it's about. Preparation for this massive return. And look, we all want Jadon Sancho to be part of it. 100%. 100%. There was an update by Plettigol saying that Jan Sommer won't be joining Man United in January, but is still a candidate for the summer. I wouldn't have him a candidate at all after tonight. He was fucking shite. He was rubbish for Switzerland tonight. So yeah, I'd swerve that one. We've also had a few comments coming in from Erik Ten Hag, which I'll probably discuss in more detail tomorrow. but he's been speaking about the break and if he got a break himself, and he said yes. It's been an unusual season. Normally in England there is no break. I'm used to it in the Dutch league as there is always a winter break, but not that early. So yeah, we decided we put some load in before. Of course, because it's different, you are with your family in your house, and then also the time to meet friends and meet family, do some other things, not only think about football but also prepare for the season, even more than the second season, as we've played 14 games in the Premier League. But yeah, quite an in-depth interview with Ten Hag, but nothing about transfers, which is what everybody wants to discuss. A few comments coming out from players who are obviously out there at the moment. But he spoke about the World Cup as well. He said it's a great opportunity. A lot of players are at the World Cup, so there are positions available for youngsters to play in these friendlies as well. And there was a comment he made about Cadiz. He said Cadiz played against Madrid in their last game and only lost 2-1, so we know they're a difficult opponent. That's our opponent tomorrow. And he spoke about the World Cup. He said it's a fantastic event. All the top players are there. It's great to watch, and of course a lot of our players are there, so I watch a lot. I follow them all and try to keep in touch with them. I'm very happy with the performance of most of them, and that's a good message for our team. It's a motivation because we have high quality players, which is great. And just on that World Cup as well, somebody mentioned it in the chat there. Hi Mark, should we look at Tielemans in January as an alternative to Eriksen? I'd love, you know what, Skull Crushers, I'd bloody love it if we looked at Tielemans, but we won't. I think for some quality in the midfield and some depth in the midfield, I do think that Tielemans would be a good signing for Manchester United, but I just don't think we will look at it. Neil says, hi Mark, maybe Felix can be a better option due to his versatility, even as a number 10 or a centre-forward if needed. If Sancho gets better, maybe Gakpo might not be missed, says Neil. And Mark, I want Musiala. That would never happen though, says Silverbridge. You're right. You've answered your own question. A statement, and then, you know, sometimes I wish my kids were like that. I want an Xbox for Christmas, but I know you can't afford it. So, yeah, I probably could afford it, really. How much is an Xbox these days? Love the joke on That's Football. Good acting, mate, says Alex de Robertson. Just a bit of a laugh. You know, I was leaving the office and I thought, should we just do this for a laugh? Because I needed to get back to the Midlands anyway. But look, just talking about the World Cup, somebody did ask this at the start of the show. Would you swap Sancho for Leao or Felix, Mark? And keep up the great work. It's really helped my mental health lately. Brendan, thank you very much. And I hope you're doing well. Thanks for being a member as well. Got some cracking member content coming up tomorrow that you're going to really like. And it's interactive. And it's the bonus content we've wanted to do for our members for a while, and we're now in a position to do it. So get ready for that tomorrow. Lily says, with Ronaldo now gone, who will the media come for next? They need United to generate stories. Will it be Sancho, Anthony, or back to Martial? What a comment by Lily. And let's see. Let's see who it is. It will be a foreign player, I predict, and it will probably be... they might go back for De Gea again. It could be Bruno. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it could happen. Let's have a look at who is left in the World Cup for England, for Manchester United, because I think this is really important now. We're on Friday and Saturday, it's the key 2 dates. So if you get knocked out of the tournament on Saturday, you get a week and a half off. You'll be back around the time of the Burnley game and in plenty of time for the day after Boxing Day game against Forest. So any of these players who get knocked out now will be back. Any of these players who go to the semi-final, I don't think they'll be back for the Forest game. The final is on the 18th, and we play Forest on the 27th. That's 9 days. That's not even a week and a half after the World Cup final. And it's not even a week and a half after the 3rd or 4th place game either. So we're in that point with the World Cup now where Malacia, Netherlands, he could get knocked out, or Argentina's Martinez. I'd probably rather Argentina got knocked out from a Man United point of view, but I'd love to see an Argentina-Brazil semi-final. Varane, Maguire, one of those is coming home at the weekend. Obviously, I'd prefer Varane to come back because I'm English, but also he's better than Maguire. But it's not just Varane or Maguire, it's Maguire, Shaw and Rashford or Varane, and those 3 players could be important for us. You've got that. You've then got Fred, Casemiro, and Brazil, and Anthony. I can't see them coming back before the final, if I'm honest. And now we've got Telles, Delo and Bruno, who also I cannot see coming back. So look, it's good from a Manchester United point of view. It is a good point of view. Hail Europa, thank you very much and welcome to Members Club. Mark, I have a theory. In the summer, Cavani gone, Ronaldo is meant to leave, and with player in court case, I think Ten Hag wanted Anthony, Felix and Gakpo. That's from Leo. And what do you think about Ziyech's team? I do like him. I'm assuming the United board knows who's going to buy Man United already. So if Ten Hag wants Felix and Gakpo in January, how does that work? Do they go to the new owners or do they go to the Glazers? Says Sean Turner. If they know who wants to buy the club and those buyers say we want you to buy Manchester United, then want to buy certain players, then we're great. But Helm says United are basically fucked. And to be honest with you, I want our players to do well in the World Cup. But every player who plays in the World Cup is going to get a week and a half off. And if you're getting a week and a half off, you're missing the first Premier League game back. Fact. You are. The gap between the World Cup final weekend, where there's a third and fourth place playoff as well, is too short for them to be back. Portugal, Brazil, France, Argentina is what I think will be the semi-finals. That would mean Bruno, Dalot, Fred, Anthony, Casemiro, Martinez, Varane will not play in the Premier League game back, and certainly not the Burnley game. So we will be a little bit short, which would mean we would have to pick a team of De Gea. I don't know who would play at right back. You'd play Lindelof and Maguire at centre back, Malacia at left back. Midfield would be Eriksen, McTominay and Donny, and then a front three of, you'd have Rashford. Oh no, Luke Shaw would be back. So you could play Malacia at right back again, and then you'd have Rashford, Martial and Garnacho. So yeah, it's the World Cup, people. This was always going to happen. We're always going to have a scenario where a lot of our players could be in the semi-final the week before we've got a game in the Premier League, and they've got to have a break. But if you're like me, I don't want Bruno getting knocked out of the World Cup against Morocco just so he can play against Forest in the Premier League. It's not good for his career. You want them to do well. So, but it's the downside of the World Cup that we should have enough to beat Forest at Old Trafford anyway with that. But these players do need a break after the World Cup. Of course they do. Of course, if England don't go home, we'd have Varane back, but we wouldn't have Rashford and Shaw. So we'll see what happens. Darren says, you said you would do both watch-alongs. I know, but I was tired and I had a long drive back. And Beth was in the office and then she offered to do it for me, so I did. Let her. There we go. England could win against France. Yes, I've just given you the alternative. So in effect, we said this before the World Cup. If you're playing in the semi-finals, you're playing the weekend of the 17th and the 18th because you'll play... even the losing semi-finalists will play on that weekend in the third and fourth place game. Akshay, welcome to the Members Club. So if you're playing on the 17th and 18th of December and you're having a week and a half off, that gets you back after the 27th when our first Premier League game is back. They should all be back for the Wolves game, but it might have an impact. Now, look, of course, you might get a Man United player who gets knocked out in the semi-final, doesn't play in the third and fourth playoff, and says they'll only have a short break. But if I'm Ten Hag and my player has been playing it for 5 weeks in a World Cup, I'm going to say to them, don't rush yourself back. You need the break. And I can't give you a break any other time. So go and have a week and a half. And people might say, oh, shit, that they're not going to be available for the Premier League game. But where else are they going to get a break this season? They're going to come back to Manchester United at the end of December and they're going to play 3 times a week until the end of May. So really, Forest at home is probably one of the games that you would say have a break. So even if Casemiro wins the World Cup on the 18th of December, which is the final, and he says, I'll be back in training so I can play against Forest on the 27th, I would say you're not coming back to Carrington till the 28th. I want you to take 10 days off because you need it. You need to recuperate and enjoy what you've achieved in the World Cup, but you need some break as well. And I think Ten Hag will 100% do that. Yes, it would be, yes, it will be joyful and triumphant to say I'll be back in 3 days, but I think in the long term it'll hurt them. Playing Palestri in that game would be dope now that the squad's very limited, says Antonio 19. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind that at all. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. I know it's been a very busy day. We've had the epic Goldbridge and Ricky watch along. We had the Goldbridge acting at the start of the Portugal game. Delo and I tell you what, Portugal are looking good. I know, I thought Spain might be, for me, the favourites for the World Cup are Brazil, France. If England can knock France out, they've got a chance. And I think Portugal are in there now as well. And maybe Argentina. So Brazil, France, 2 favourites. And then I think you've got maybe England and Portugal now. And maybe Argentina. But Portugal looked good today. They did look good today. And I tell you what, I'd bloody love it if Portugal won the World Cup. And not, I don't know whether Ronaldo would be involved. But from a Delo and Bruno point of view, it'd be brilliant. It's so important for... I said this when England got to the final of the Euros. I really wanted them to win. Because Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford and Harry Maguire, they don't really know how to win anything. And it benefits Man United if you've got... Look at Casemiro, look at Varane. You can see they are top quality players, but they also know how to win. They've won Champions Leagues. Varane's won a World Cup. If some of our players can come back with a World Cup and know how to do that, we benefit as a club without them doing anything in a United shirt. If Bruno and Delo come back as World Cup winners, they've got that high level winning mentality, and we didn't do it in a Man United shirt, but they bring it back. What are the chances Spain manager is in tears now? Should have brought Shopstopper with them or put Sanchez, just saying, says Leo J. Yeah, embarrassing from Spain. They didn't even score a goal, even from penalties. Anyway, enough said. Thanks everyone for watching. We're back in the morning at 10 o'clock with the new show. And remember, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we've got a watch along as well. Bring it on. Looking forward to it. Take care, everyone. Thanks everybody who's been watching the content today. Of course, we've got our preview up for Cadets. If you've not seen that, it's only 10 minutes long. You can check that out on the homepage. And thanks for everyone who tuned in on That's Football as well. It's been a busy day. Take care, everyone. Been up in Manchester, back home, chilling out with Ricky and the crew. It's been a really good day, and you've been chilling out with us as well. So thanks, everyone. Love the community we've got. Whether you're on That's Football, United Stand, or both, absolutely loving it, and really, really appreciate all your support and all of you being part of it. And don't forget, we've got our new members video going up tomorrow as well, which I think you're going to love, members. So watch out for that. Take care, everyone. Speak to you soon.